Sonic Mania is the kind of game that will reference the ROM hacking community.
Yep. Well, that's where these dudes came from.
Yeah, no, that's literally where they came from. They got their start in the Sonic Fan Games HQ. I think I actually may have downloaded one of this guy's sprite sheet, one of the main dev sprite sheet for Sonic from like 2000.
I mean, I remember like the old days of like Retro Sonic XG or whatever it was called, which was kind of like a prototype version of this, in the sense that it was basically like the first project of this scale. And I think like one of the demos for at least one of these dudes' projects had the exact same Sonic 2 Game Gear style balloon bubble riding. I mean, from this level here, like it was just a water level, sort of maybe a little bit more Tidal Tempest in style.
Which one was Tidal Tempest? I can't remember.
That was from Sonic CD.
Ah.
Yeah, you can always tell which one's the Sonic CD one, because like, oh, it's alliterative.
Yep.
Yeah, but like I thought some of the Game Gear ones were alliterative too.
Not as much. Like the only other one that really sticks out in my mind is Sonic 3D Blast. That was like really like consistently alliterative.
Ah, Sonic.
Oh, you gotta play Sonic 3D Blast Director's Cut eventually.
Oh yeah, no, that is on my list. I figure I'll just update the thread I made for Sonic 3D Blast Let's Play.
Yeah.
It's Director's Cut.
I mean, it doesn't change the game.
Not at all.
Okay, so this dude, one of the founders of Traveler's Tales, actually.
Yeah, John Burton.
John Burton, yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a real nice guy.
Oh, he's by all accounts, he is a wonderfully friendly fellow. Just starts a YouTube channel with the intention of just, basically just fooling around and messing around with coding stuff that he likes. But he also has a enormous back catalog of unreleased stuff from projects, and it's all projects he worked on. Like it's all stuff that he is intimately connected to. And one of the things that he did.
Oh, okay, yeah, I had heard about this.
Basically, one of the things he did basically all the work on was Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R. So he has all this information on how they got the Genesis to do all this crazy shit that you would logically think the Genesis shouldn't do. And he just does these little YouTube videos on it. He's just for fun. And anyways, after doing a few videos on basically Genesis hacking and programming, and how they did shit on the Genesis that you wouldn't think they would do, he's just like, some of the choices I made in 3D Blast I'm not a fan of anymore. I wouldn't have made those choices if I made them today, so I'm just gonna fix it. And he fixed it. He literally just remade 3D Blast.
Yeah, Sonic has more momentum now. The flickies don't scatter quite as far anymore.
Yeah, they all
the birds all actively try to find you now.
But other stuff is there's now a level select and I think a rudimentary password save function.
Yeah, there's save stuff and percentage counters for like
his explicit rule was he wouldn't do anything that he couldn't actually do on the actual 3D Blast cartridge, which a lot of ROM hacks play fat, quick, and dirty with.
Right, there's no literal battery backup style saving in the game, which is a little unfortunate because I don't like passwords as much, but it does have the advantage of being 100% compatible with the Steam Workshop support, because the way most game supports saving is not completely
it's via save state basically.
Yeah, if your game didn't initially support saving already, Phantasy Star or Sonic 3 or something, there's no way to enable battery backup style saving at all, and it can't be any larger than the initial size. So for Sonic 3 Complete, for example, some of saving the extra features in that game doesn't work the way it should if you were running off a flash card or something.
It also means the game would probably run on a real piece of hardware.
Yeah, well, Sonic 3 Complete does as well, as long as you...
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's it's nice to see ROM hacks that do that.
Yeah. It is a very clean and elegant solution that changes as little as it needs to be implemented, that sort of form of saving.
I really enjoyed the fact...
Apparently people sent him a bunch of sprite edits for Supersonic and stuff, because he had Supersonic as well. And he actually turned them all down because, as far as he was concerned, it wasn't in if it wasn't something he had like available to work with that was explicitly his, he wasn't going to use it.
He wanted to treat it like a director's cut, so it's not
like
making a new game.
Yeah, that's what he called it.
Yeah, no, and it is a director's cut because he was the director.
Yeah, the only thing I really sort of regret about it, or I wish that wouldn't have been the case, is that it is literally only for the Genesis version. Whereas I like the way the PC version looks a little bit better. It already has a full save feature. I kind of wish that like these features could get added to the PC version as well.
I'm sure
it's one of those. I don't think he worked on that version.
Into the PC version. But
Give
like
another
thing he did, which I'm not sure was the best choice, since this is probably like how I always was able to get the Chaos Emeralds in the 3D Blast, was he made it so that each level is locked to one Chaos Emerald. So you have to beat all 7 levels to get all 7 emeralds, basically.
I thought it was each act, but you might be right.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, well, it's like for every zone, there's, I think, a specific Chaos Emerald locked to it. So as long as you beat one special stage in either of the 2 main acts, you do get the Chaos Emerald.
Okay.
And I don't know is what they changed in Panic Puppet to support it. Because there were no actually, none of the last 4 main acts have special stage entrances in the normal version anywhere. So I'm not sure where those would have been placed. Because I tried playing a little bit of it one time, forgot that it had only the password backups and not like a literal save feature. So I lost like maybe an hour or 2 of progress and didn't go back to it, which is why I'm like, you know, you need to either do save states or keep writing down passwords if you're going to play this, because otherwise you will lose your progress.
This does remind me that like he like his YouTube channel recently, he started doing what might be the most thankless job in the world, which is like trying to explain via YouTube simple like assembly, 68,000 assembly.
Oh,
yes.
good God.
I mean, God bless his heart. God bless as well Rebecca Heinemann's heart, who's done the same thing in a couple of videos I've seen. Like the one where she explains why the port of Doom for 3DO was so bad.
Yeah, that's a tragedy.
I just assumed everything on a 3DO was bad.
The 3DO had the potential for good things. Yeah. There's a good port of Super Turbo on that, but like 68,000 assembly hacking is something that can really only be useful for like ROM hacking Genesis games.
Which is why he introduced it as here's how you hack Genesis games.
Yeah, that's literally literally it. Is that it's specific?
But it's a really esoteric thing that is very like, oh, you will not find anyone else who has the capacity to teach you this the same way.
Like the only other sort of applications for this, or maybe just maybe programming things for the TI-89 calculator, and there's
other things that use the Motorola 68,000.
Yeah, it's true. I think some
Amiga fans will love it.
Oh yes, well yeah. I mean that's sort of the reason that he was so good at like Genesis programming, is that before he was doing Genesis stuff, he was doing Amiga stuff.
Amiga demo scene.
Yep.
That's a weird scene to be into. And I'm like, say this as a member of the Orlando Nerdcore scene for quite a while.
It's one of those things that, like, you get into it because, like, oh, you're a kid with a computer in Britain in the 1980s.
It's a very English thing to be into.
Yes. Yeah.
Kinda.
Have I mentioned I am British today? Okay, let's see if I can get the upper
I feel like those specific instances of the demo scene are very, very European. Like both that and the Commodore 64.
Oh, man. The Commodore 64 was actually a success in the US on, like, the ZX Spectrum, or the Dragon, or whatever.
Well, I think it helps that the graphics of the C64 looked a lot better than the ZX. Yeah,
the Spectrum is, like, every time I look at that, it's just like, oh, I think I might be dying.
It's very interesting to look at, but oh man, yeah. I mean, I am genuinely impressed when like playable stuff comes out on that console. And you know, like Mad Hair is probably going to one of our friends from our big forum. He's gonna come in and he's gonna be like, "Oh no, you're talking smack about the ZX. You know, that's it. I'm blocking every last one of you."
Block me, I don't care. Like, every time I look at the spectrum, all I can think is, like, it's bizarre to me that this kind of color clash was considered acceptable.
It is extremely oversaturated, and it is just such a shame that really you can only have, like, 4 colors at once.
One of my favorite things about the spectrum is, like, so, like, famous bad video game, The Simpsons Bart vs. the Space Mutants, appeared on the spectrum.
Yeah.
That system is full of games that are piss yellow. This Bart is like a outline. He doesn't have a color.
Oh my god.
Why would they do that?
I don't know what was going on there.
I mean, on most platforms, that game didn't look particularly good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good on anything. But like that one, it's one of those things where it's like, how many Spectrum games have I seen where the character is piss yellow, and this is the, and you failed the one time it was appropriate.
Yeah, you had exactly one chance, and you blew it. I hate this boss.
Oh,
I actually like this boss.
In Mania, this is
I
probably
would
my least favorite.
I would like it more if it wasn't if it wasn't that the first part was just so unforgiving.
Oh yeah, the first part, like, if you get hit, you are on your honor.
Yeah.
Well, then there's that, and then this is like the worst boss to bring back from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is
one of my least favorite bosses.
This is not like anybody's
guys?
favorite
Why?
Sonic 3 and Knuckles boss.
The first part of this fight, I think, is kind of cute and interesting. I don't think that they needed to do the second half.
Yeah, like, they didn't need to put both in here.
Yeah, it's a lot for what is sort of really just the halfway point of the game. Like, there's still